What is up, gamers? Welcome in to the SGLIVE Online 2024 Super Metroid Map Randomizer Tournament. We've got a winner's bracket round 2 match here between Oatsngoats. Needs no introduction, I'm sure. And iLunix, someone I know less about, but I've been really impressed with his performances in this tournament so far and in the map rando practice races, the community weeklies, all that good stuff. I think this is going to be a fun match. So we are starting soon. You can see by Lunix's timer, which is not very visible. There we go. And we are off. See Lunix going straight to the left and immediately running into a super door. Another win for the going right crew. We do see the map over there, though. Oats deciding to pause to check where the map is in this area. Actually, because it was so close, he also went left. But fortunately found out it was not accessible yet. So we have to go to the right here, get that speed booster at the wave beam room. And that speed booster allows us to spark up here to the Criteria Power Bomb. Now it's actually a full new area. I didn't see exactly which area this was, but looks like both runners were able to make it through this fairly difficult butterfly room with no problems. Looks like we're in Turian, judging by the music. So the runner's looking for those super missiles in order to access the map station. Also just looking for items like Morph Ball and some kind of bomb item in order to not get stuck. Because turns out the game is designed with Morph Ball in mind, so there's not a lot you can do without it. A health refill there at the right side of this West Ocean, which is another nice place to find early, but unfortunately none of the items are accessible yet, with no morph and no access to the top. And there's another dead end. Red Tower, not climbable without... Not Red Tower. That was where they entered the area, but the Ice Escape Room, not accessible without Morph Ball. It looks like we're going to see Lunix set up for a Spark Up Red Tower, and Oats doing the same. Unfortunately, Lunix sparks a little bit far to the left. The position is kind of weird. If you aren't super familiar with where you need to spark, it's a lot different than you'd expect. I know when I came across this situation, I actually kept sparking too far to the right because I thought the gap was further that direction. Fortunately, we still aren't seeing anything particularly good. I didn't see what room Oats left behind, but whatever it was, he left it behind, so it couldn't have been good. Good to see it just a second in Lunix's case. That was a super missile. So that is access to the left side of Criteria, at least. It looks like both runners are going to continue in Red Tower for now, at least. And they are able to make it all the way to the map. Turian map, we see a couple more majors, including that one at High Jump, which is accessible here. Also, a couple around that West Ocean, which again, they don't really have a good way to access yet. And we do find that Morph Ball there in the pre-high jump room. Also a reserve tank. Maybe not what Oats was hoping to find. Really hoping for a power bomb or an energy tank. Reserve tank is kind of the weak link of the hollow dot items, but It is still more energy, so it's not the end of the world to find. And I imagine we see Oats. It is technically possible to get across the wreck ship pre-Fantoon room with the speed booster. You could do a speedball to make it all the way to the right, but not guaranteed you'd be able to make it back, and it doesn't look like there was anything over there anyways, so we're just seeing Oats head back down, most likely towards the Criteria map. Could potentially at least pick up the hollow dot at the bottom of West Ocean. Looks like that's where Oats is headed. Looks like iLunix is headed down as well. Was able to get that morph ball in reserve tank. It's just an E-tank here, but once again, more energy is nice. Still looking for those power bombs though, which would open up a lot more of the map. Looks like Oats may be considering trying to make it to the top of West Ocean. There's a Ridley over there, which is a little bit scary. But I believe the top was accessible through the ice speedway room. Actually, no, they don't have power bombs, so they wouldn't be able to make it that way. And it looks like Oats realized that as well, so he is headed back to Criteria. Chat pointing out iLunix with the grayed out background and Oats with the more grayed out Samus definitely look like they could fit each other, but either way, unfortunately, we've come back for the promising left side of Criteria that could have led straight to the map, but unfortunately it was a pretty bad room. Running into Mickey Mouse missile from the top, but with no bomb breaking ability. Aren't able to check the item. Can do this cool spark over here to get to Gauntlet with enough energy. I maybe would have liked to see an energy refill from Oats. And it looks like we'll see if he wants to follow that again, but would need to refill before doing that. It is, I believe in logic, you can get a spark going up fish tank, that room was. Meanwhile, it looks like we actually see iLunix trying to head over to the top of West Ocean. Unfortunately messed up the entrance to the ice escape room, so gonna need to farm a little bit more. You can see after resetting and entering the room with a little bit more energy, Oats was able to get that spark to the bottom of fish tank. Unfortunately, there's not a way back out, so I don't think the logic wants you to be here, but is going to get an out of logic map station. We'll see if he finds anything important. And, well, not really. I don't think the top left door is accessible, so unfortunately can't get that major item at the top of the green pirate shaft. We're going to see Oats going down, though. I didn't see exactly what was down here on the map, but looks like there's a portal to Meridia, as well as a nice hollow dot over here. Just another E-tank, once again. As iLunix also gets an E-tank here. Was able to make it to the top of West Ocean. Rewarded with bombs. That's actually really big. Lets him check the second major here. Another super pack is nice. Finally, in this one-tile heated room, I believe that has to be speed. I think that's the only right-facing one-tile item room. Just gets the wave beam, so nothing too big, but those bombs are actually going to be really good for iLunix. Unfortunately, not much else to do in this section of the map. There's no more major items in Turian, and the only other room of note is Ridley's Lair, which is a little bit too dangerous for this equipment. So, we will be seeing Lunix head over here to where Oats is currently exploring, most likely. There is a major there at the Mickey Mouse missile. Worth noting that with those bombs, Lunix can actually get that. So if that's a suit, that could actually be pretty massive for Lunix. I didn't see what room that was in Meridia, but once again, we are seeing a bail from Oats. It's going to try to climb back up Fish Tank, but I don't believe it's possible. And a suit it was, it looks like. Lunix finding the gravity suit there in Mickey Mouse. So this is a big positional lead now for Lunix. Has those bombs and now is going to be doing what Oats was just doing earlier, but is going to be able to make it through Fish Tank much easier. We'll be able to climb to the top of Fish Tank and up Green Pirate Shaft to get those, or that major item. Potentially two, because there are two items in that one tile. First going to be headed to the map, though, of course. And we'll see exactly how Lunix decides to route this, but once again, this is a very strong early lead, opening up for Lunix with those early bombs. Good news for Oats fans, though. That is basically the only thing left, so he is headed straight there. We'll get those bombs shortly. Still won't be able to fight Ridley, of course, but with those bombs and then soon the gravity suit, I should be able to stay within a couple minutes of Lunix. Who is going up to the Green Pirate Shaft. Actually went there right away, it looks like. So we'll see what items are here. Almost got through one side. Luckily was able to break both crumble blocks, and it's fortunate because on the side that he almost missed, it was Screw Attack, so another nice early item to have for Lunix. Allows you to traverse some of the more dangerous rooms in Meridia and Lower Norfair with relative ease. Going to be picking up this missile pack as well. Actually, the first missile pack, 12 minutes in. The game has been a bit stingy with items in this early game. There was another major item up here, up the Climb Supers shaft, which with that speed booster and with this much energy, is something Lunix is able to do. Going to be getting this missile pack here as well in the Old Mother Brain location. We'll see what Oats decides to do with his bombs, but I would be surprised if he wasn't thinking about that item at Mickey Mouse. You can also see that Screw Attack for Lunix putting in nice work, being able to screw through those I don't remember what that enemy is called, but able to get through them no problem. That room can actually be pretty tricky without ice, which, funny enough, was the major item at the location. Oats also made it to the gravity suit, as expected. Unfortunately, Lunix couldn't go back down the Climb Super Shaft, so has to take the long way down here. There's a nice save, at least, on path. And that's pretty much all that's up here. So, Lunix will be headed back down. We'll see exactly where he wants to go. Technically, with that Ice Beam, you could Ice Clip down, or Ice Clip up Pants Room to get to the boss over there. I didn't see if that was Crater Dragon. There's also 2 majors there at the early super location, it looked like that was. So, since you have to backtrack anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if the runners decided to save the boss for later. They will have to backtrack through Meridia over to Turian, because they have to go back and fight Ridley. So there's really no point in going out of your way to fight a boss with a suboptimal loadout. And I would expect we don't see either of them bother with that for now. See this hollow dot that Oats wasn't able to access earlier, and there is our power bombs finally. So iLunix, with all of the bomb breaking abilities, has the speed, has the screw attack, has the vanilla bombs, and finally has that power bomb. So iLunix heading down. I believe this leads to Mount Everest, and then on the left side of Everest here, there is the early supers room, which contains 2 majors. See what the goods are here. Space jump first. Going to be a nice item for traversing the bigger, more open air rooms. Grapple beam also fairly nice. iLunix not going to bother with that missile. I may have picked that up, but that's okay. The grapple beam is also a nice way to kill Dragon. That is probably going to be its biggest use, given that they already have space jump in the same room. They being just iLunix for now, but Oats also likely headed that way. iLunix gonna head down to Brinstar. That's a pretty far map, but it looks like iLunix is going to commit to this area. Gonna find the pre-Croc Speedway, as well as Croc Escape, so a nice place for both grapple and space jump. And, well, it looks like this was the right way. iLunix running straight into that Varia suit. And with this much health in both suits, and ice and speed, we are really just charge beam from go mode. It's not the most comfortable go mode ever, but this has been a very profitable venture for iLunix, even if the rest of the area doesn't have anything important. Just getting that Varia suit is already really big, and we'll see if that's where Oats decides to go. There are a few different areas that Oats has access to over on this side of Criteria. Obviously, there's the Meridia portal right above him in Wreckship Main Shaft, and I think there was one more that I saw on the map. Oh, no, there isn't. So we'll probably be seeing Oats go to Brinstar as well, which is fortunate. Means he will likely be getting that Varia suit as well. We see the Brinstar map is looking a bit empty. There is another major item here at the Main Street supers, the Crab supers, which is easily accessible. iLunix? Okay. May have been trying to go to the top of the room. May have had those 2 items swapped. Thought that the major was at the missile instead of the super. But either way, makes it there eventually, and is rewarded with the high jump boots, so we have a really comfortable movement loadout here. Now the decision for iLunix is really just, does he want to go back to Meridia, or does he want to make the trek all the way to Wrecked Ship, which I believe was at Croc Entry. Either way, going to be headed back. We are entering the Croc Speedway, so Definitely implies to me that iLunix is looking to go down. Maybe not, though. What iLunix might be looking to do here is he wants to go back and fight Ridley as soon as possible because Ridley's in such a bad location. He's able to find a super pack, which is nice. But this still isn't quite enough ammo to kill Ridley. You really want to be doing that because Ridley's so out of the way compared to everything else on the map. As Oats also makes his way to Brinstar and gets that various suit. Currently following in iLunix's footsteps. But yeah, I'll be interested to see exactly what iLunix decides to do. I think orphaning the wreck ship, it's a little bit scary of a proposition. You know, there could be a boss there, and you'd run into like a mother brain somewhere else, and then you have to backtrack all the way to ship, which is kind of annoying. This was the room that Oats turned back on earlier. Makes sense, since it didn't have any of the beams or movement items that iLunix has now. So the map is all the way in the top left. Gonna be a bit of a trek. iLunix gonna do some exploration all the way to the left first. Not gonna go up that elevator yet. And unfortunately, not really rewarded, but having the save is nice at least. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how Oats plays this situation. Already made it to the high jump boots, so making up a bit of ground on iLunix just off of movement advantage. But this is another big situation, whether or not Oats decides to go down to wreck ship, and whether or not wreck ship has anything interesting. Looks like Oats is actually going up. I didn't see what was up here on the map earlier. There's a hollow dot. There's 2 hollow dots, so very possible that Oats is just coming back for these, and gets rewarded with 1 super, and a power bomb. So that's actually quite good. As mentioned, you really want to be killing Ridley as soon as possible because it's so obnoxious to get back to, and with the 20 supers, if Oats picks up the same ones that iLunix did at the next to the climb, you know, we're already knocking on the door of Ridley being barely possible. iLunix continues his exploration of Meridia. Found Bubble Mountain and Double Chamber. Looks like thought this map was going to be a Fantoon map, since we have already seen one of the right maps. So did want to go... wanted to go check the right doors first, but... turns out Fantoon is somewhere else. We do see the other 2 bosses that we haven't seen yet. Fantoon and... I believe that was Kraid. As well as 2 more majors, so... iLunix going to be going down to get those, as well as finishing off the Kraid in the process. We've got the Cathedral item first. Going to be... I didn't see. Spring Ball. It looks like Oats is going to head down to wreck ship, so... we see our divergence, for better or for worse. Well, I would say that's for better. The charge beam showing up for Oats, that is go mode. And that's actually huge for Oats, because we see the Meridia has the last 2 bosses, so Oats is going to find Fantoon here. This is the Fantoon map, the wreck ship map, and there's about 5 right doors over here. Gonna see nothing on the map, going to bail, probably head back to Ridley and Dragon, and then go straight into Meridia. This is actually huge for Oats. That is a massive charge beam find. Unfortunately for iLunix, I mean, the good news for iLunix is that he is going to head straight back for charge beam, most likely. I would imagine that's where iLunix heads next, because this still isn't really enough ammo to kill Ridley. And it didn't look like there was anything else, like any other portals in Meridia. I think we've seen every area. No, I don't think we've seen Norfair. Norfair, I think, is somewhere in Wreck Ship, though, so once iLunix finds the map, there's no need for him to go to Norfair. Which actually is notable for Oats, because Oats may find Norfair and decide to check that out instead of backtracking. So there's still a lot of decisions to be made here. This race has not been decided yet, but I would say with where that charge beam was and where the rest of the map, or where the rest of the bosses are, this is advantage Oats for now. And yeah, iLunix headed straight down, going back to Wreck Ship. It's not too far of a trek, luckily. Just have to go down Wreck Ship main shaft and Mount Everest, and then down Croc Escape, or Croc Entry rather. I didn't see what the map looked like here for Oats, but it doesn't look like Oats is going to bother with Norfair if there was a Norfair connection, which I assume there has to be if I've read the map correctly. So Oats actually making the, we know, correct play to not bother with Norfair and actually going back up, which is, it's really big. This is really good for Oats. iLunix is able to find that charge beam, though, and will be getting to Fantoon fairly shortly. And then iLunix will actually have full map knowledge from here, so... Once again, it's still not over, but... I think iLunix actually knew that that map was going to be Fantoon, because we've seen 2 left maps already. But either way, going to be getting to Fantoon shortly. Yeah, this is still an interesting race, for sure. See what order Oats decides to do things in, as unfortunately fumbled a little bit in Everest. Looks like he is headed over to fight this Dragon now. And if that's what we're seeing from Oats, headed from Ridley to Dragon, or Dragon to Ridley, and then straight back into Meridia, it's actually pretty big. What could make this race more interesting is if Oats decides to go from Dragon to the Meridia map, and then actually has to backtrack all the way out to get back to Ridley. But I do think that's just incorrect. I think that would just be a mistake, even disregarding the fact that we know that that's not how the map would work out. Because I think you just want to kill Ridley as soon as possible, now that you're go mode. But again, we'll see what the runners decide to do. Obviously, iLunix sees the wreck ship, sees there's nothing else here, and just has to fight all the bosses. So we'll be seeing him go back to his Dragon and Ridley fights. Yeah, as chat mentioned, this is game 1 of a best of 3. All 3 games are going to be played this afternoon right here on twitch.tv/speedgaming. Tell all your friends. I don't know what Lunix is checking here. He picked up the charge beam, right? Lunix has seen all the bosses, right? Why is Lunix going to Norfair? I think Lunix might have forgotten that he's seen all 4 bosses. This is what this Norfair feels like to me, because you don't do, like, if you know where all the bosses are, you have full new rep beam, both suits, and basically every other item. There's no reason to be here in Norfair. So I think Lunix just forgot he's already seen all the bosses, which is really unfortunate because it's going to lose him quite a bit of time in a very close race. Finds the last major, though, the X-ray scope. I guess that's not the last one. There's still plasma beam somewhere. Yeah, we'll see how Oats decides to route this. Obviously, we know the answer is to go straight to Ridley and then straight back to Meridia. We'll see if Oats wants to go into Meridia or potentially even go all the way back to Norfair, but I assume that's your last resort in Oats' position, so looks like he is going straight back to Ridley, so we're going to see a very fast finish time from Oats, actually. It's going to be borderline sub 40, probably a couple minutes slower, a low 40. Fortunately, Lunix is going to find this map and find out there is nothing here. Except plasma. There's the plasma at Morph Ball. You see the desperately cycling between areas, like what boss was missing. The answer is Dragon. I think Lunix may just have forgotten the Dragon all the way on the right side of Criteria. Really out of the way. But unfortunately, that is a bit of a devastating blow. And yes, Lunix should have charge. I think charge did get filled on the tracker, and then the tracker just like the software unchecked it or something like that. I don't know. But he definitely picked it up. As Oats headed back to Ridley as fast as possible. As the ice turned off, so gonna open up the fight with some X Factors, it looks like. Always exciting. $20 supers will be a fairly fast Ridley fight. Each full X Factor is worth 2 more supers, so looks like Oats is just gonna go for one X Factor for now. So gonna have to do a few charge shots, but could have potentially gone for a few more X Factors and reduced the number of charge shots even further. Just gonna play it safe though. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Ammo isn't really a concern either. You do want 1 super missile to actually get back out of West Ocean, but you'll get the ship refill on your way back down, so you don't care too much about just using all your ammo here. And don't really care much about your health either, although with Screw Attack, High Jump, and both suits, Oats is not in any danger in this fight, realistically. And we see it done. Good fight. Does get a super drop. For a second, I thought there were none, which would have actually been pretty unfortunate, but it's enough. Answer a question in chat about Mother Brain 1 breaking the glass. Supers do double damage to both Mother Brain 1 and Mother Brain 2. So the minimum amount, I believe, is 18 and 3. So that would be 20 missiles and 5 supers max to have that much ammo. Oats, of course, has plenty of ammo, so doesn't need to worry too much. Even has plenty of supers that he'll be able to use on the fight itself. I said this wasn't a sub 40, but honestly, this is going to be really close if Oats keeps going at this pace. Depends on how long the Mother Brain fight takes. And also depends if he goes straight into Meridia here, which, again, given that the other option is backtracking all the way to Brinstar through Wreck Ship to Norfair, I think this is the much more reasonable play, and it is the one we see Oats do. Nice, clean Metroid Room 1. Actually, also going to be going to the left here. Never mind. We did see iLunix go all the way down Frog Speedway and ended up getting rewarded with just a save station. But Oats is going to take the elevator up. I wasn't actually paying super close attention to the sequence of rooms while iLunix was going through it, so we'll see what Oats finds here. Either way, it's not too long of a path to the map. The lower Norfair elevator takes him pretty close. And then I think it's Bubble Mountain after that. I think this leads to the bottom of Bubble Mountain, and then the map station is on the left. And Oats knows it's not Phantoon because Phantoon is already dead. This will give Oats the last two bosses knowledge. One is right next to him, the other is not too far away. Unfortunately, it does have to... We'll have to backtrack back up, but... That's only a very small inconvenience, given the position. iLunix, meanwhile, has taken down Dragon. Going to head back to his Ridley fight, and then back to Mother Brain. Also looking at a very fast completion time for iLunix as well. It's just a shame that iLunix forgot about that Dragon in Criteria. So without that, this is a very close race. iLunix played the early game very well, was able to get those bombs early before Oats, and was a few minutes ahead coming out of the early game, getting that gravity suit. But that one unfortunate mistake, as well as a couple other decisions that went in Oats' favor, it's definitely put things further out of reach. Oats is going to go check this item just to see if it's a beam. Unfortunately, it's not, I don't think. Oh, it is. It's Spazer. So, small little bit of firepower upgrade for Mother Brain. Always appreciate it. I don't know if Spazer ends up saving any time, but Plasma definitely would have, so I think the check was correct. iLunix has made his way up to Turian, headed over to that Ridley fight. Well, Oats has made... Gonna take this save real quick, but has made his way to Mother Brain. The save is right here, so I like the decision. Nice down back Zeb skip. Didn't need to unequip the screw attack. Able to avoid the turret snipe as well. And we are here at Mother Brain. I believe this is 26 charge shots required. Looks like Oats is going to open supers first. Shot 3 charge shots at the beginning, I believe, so 23 more, if I'm not mistaken. Nice and easy fight. Have the high jump to easily avoid the attacks. Have a decent beam. And it is done. Oatsngoats. Defeated. Mother Brain does have to backtrack all the way through Meridia, but not going to be too long of an escape. And there's a lot of single long rooms, which is actually quite nice. Just studying the map real quick, just to know what the route is. The weird part of the escape is right at the beginning here, actually getting back into Bubble Mountain. Fortunately, got the single chamber. This turns back. This room is significantly less laggy without the amount of particle effects going on, as it turns out. No, we made it through. Just need to head to the right. See another elevator after this, and then keep going right after that. And I don't remember exactly what comes after that. I'm going to be going up Wreckship main shaft to Fish Tank. I don't remember exactly how those connect. But then Fish Tank connects to Gauntlet, and that will be it. So, Oats making his way there. iLunix headed back to Mother Brain, but unfortunately, as we know, it is too late. And Oatsngoats finishes in first place with an official race time of 42:26. GG to Oats. And of course, remember, this is still a best of 3. We do have game 2 coming up right now. Well, right after this. Looks like the runners have already started, but of course there is the 10-minute delay. iLunix did decide to finish out game 1 as well. But as iLunix takes down his Mother Brain, and we wait for game 2, we'll be right back.